but since I took all the carpet off down to the hardwood floors, eventually nothing's level, so we gotta fix.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Everything.
How you making out?
All right. Second meeting of it.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt.
Hello. We're meeting here.
Oh, that's what.
Take gavel. Sorry to bother you. That's all right. Sorry, people will be. We sit here. I think the light goes automatically on.
If you like.
She goes.
Who's coming where?
You walk in, yeah, there you go. It's a little warm back there.
It was warm when we came in up here.
Well.
There's two temperatures in this room.
On or off.
Yeah.
On or off.
Antarctica.
Freezing in the summer, roasting in the winter.
Yes, please.
Well,
Well, if she comes, I'll hand it off.
there you go.
Where
to go? All right, should we wait or, I guess we can just start, right?
Go
We're
tomorrow.
gonna take the minutes? Yeah. Tina's not in here. Okay. So I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Before we get started, there's something I want to talk about that wasn't on the agenda. And, first of all, welcome Neil. And it's the first one.
No.
I've been to a couple of them. I don't think you've been at the ones that I've been at.
First one this year.
Probably
First one this
not.
year, so.
I missed like one.
I missed January. I was here on January, missed February.
What's it doing over here?
And you were on vacation, weren't you? Russ?
Yeah.
You gotta get away when you can.
So it's been brought to my attention that there's some concerns from people about me being the chairperson for the board. And I just wanted to know if anybody shares those feelings as well.
No.
No.
So to be clear, I addressed Amy after last month's meeting, and because she had confronted me about publicizing the agenda, which I just went up to her and asked her what the problem was.
Wait a minute. But
I'm just trying to explain that I don't have an issue with being the chairperson, because I know that's what the question was about.
That's not what the question was about. The
Oh, carry on
question
then.
was to ask the members of the board if they had a problem with me being the chairperson of the board.
So I can't give my answer then? Okay, everyone else can answer. That's fine.
That's not what I said.
That's fine, everyone else can answer it by your standards, that's fine.
That wasn't an answer.
Okay.
That was you telling everybody what went on in the parking lot, which I obviously
Which is relevant
said
to my
brought to
opinion.
my attention.
Why am I
so
not allowed to speak my
wasn't
mind? Why do you
going-
have to interrupt me like a child? And this is what I said to you, you
Chairperson,
keep cutting me
sir.
off.
Right.
I'm sorry, this is not the time for public comment. You can't just run the meeting from, you can't just run the meeting from your chair.
This isn't a borough
You
council
can't just
meeting,
run the
sir.
meeting from your chair though, like you did last month.
We didn't even start the meeting yet, and it's already going bad.
Exactly.
You know what?
That's the problem.
Go ahead. Take your chop. Go ahead. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
It's obvious you don't, so go
No,
ahead
I
and finish
do.
and ask everybody
Please.
else, because I know
We're all
everybody else
curious
knows.
now.
No, go ahead. You wanted to, I was keeping everything anonymous and keeping it PC and just saying that there were some issues, but you
There is.
want to bring everything out, so go ahead and bring it out.
I don't want to bring everything out. I was explaining something, you cut me off, so please carry on.
Nope, get it out on the table.
You started by what you want to get out on the table, so please go ahead. You're just disrupting the meeting now. Because you're handling this the same way you handled that private one-on-one and the same way you handled the text message the next day, by being combative instead of finding a solution. So please just carry on. You obviously don't want to solve it.
I'm solving it right now.
Okay, how?
Again, I asked if anybody had a problem on the board with me being the chairperson.
Okay. And everybody answered, and when you got to my answer, you cut me off. So can we move on now? We're saying the same things. It's really not helpful. Do you find something funny, Michael?
I do. I
What is
actually
that,
do.
Mike?
I think you're absolutely you're taking this to a level that is unacceptable and inappropriate.
No.
She's clearly
That's funny
heard.
coming from you.
She's
Hey,
She's
this,
clearly
let me
Yeah.
just butt in
Oh,
here.
that's professional.
I'm sorry, I normally don't get pissed off like this. This board is meant to do stuff for the
That's
town.
right.
That's
It hasn't
right.
done anything yet, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Oh, we've skipped
All right.
3 to 4 meetings.
Don't yell at me, please. If you have something to say, please do it more professionally. I know you were following the lead of other people, but please do it more professionally.
Oh, my God.
I have my own
Everybody's
mind.
pushing this board.
I have my own mind.
Okay, that's fine, but you don't have to yell at
Calming
me like
down.
that.
Can I address the chair? Can I please address the chair?
Can I,
1 second.
1 second, let me just finish. This board is meant to do stuff for the town. We have
Correct.
just started,
100%. I take that personally.
we are just starting.
We're not just
getting our
starting, we've been aboard for a year.
No, we haven't.
We've been since around October. We are just getting our feet wet. I don't speak for everyone, but I haven't done a lot of events for a whole town.
Agreed.
So I'm still trying to learn this. We are still trying to learn what fits for this town. And now people are going at each other when we shouldn't be doing that.
I agree with you there, Colin. And I think the frustration is a lot of time has passed and we didn't put anything on the calendar except for the thing Mike came in last month and demanded we put on the calendar.
No.
And we haven't put anything on the calendar. You literally said, Amy, vote on it. You literally said, Amy, put it up for a vote. You literally sat at the table and said, Amy, put it up for a vote. And you can laugh all you want.
Been on the calendar for what,
It just
6
shows
or
you,
7
like,
years?
your level of professionalism sitting there laughing over a serious issue.
I'm sorry, he still has the
Can we remove him?
floor, so let's give him
Can we
the
remove him?
respect.
He is
Mike,
keeping
Mike,
this
Mike,
board.
Mike, please.
I'm the most qualified person to be on this board.
I want to speak politely.
Take your time.
And we just need to move forward, keep politics and bickering out of this. We have an event for October. We have other events that are put on the schedule to propose to vote on. What is said outside between people should stay outside
I agree.
between people, but if it is brought with problems and disagreements between people on this board, then it should be brought up anonymously, like Amy did, and a vote was given. I'm
I
sorry,
brought it
I'm
up
just,
personally one-on-one with her. She brought it up here at the table, so I did bring it up privately, and I tried to keep it that way. And I
she
wouldn't have brought,
said,
and I
she
wouldn't have brought it up
said
tonight. And I wouldn't have brought it up tonight.
anonymously, she didn't include you.
The
She
round-
just asked for everyone's opinion.
Right, because of that conversation, I'm not done. And I wouldn't have brought it up tonight, so that's fine. Can we move on yet?
Although, Brad, you did bring it up.
When prompted as, is there an issue with the
No.
chairperson? I was asked a question.
It's a yes or no question.
She asked.
It wasn't proposed as a yes or no
She
question. I have the
did.
right to speak.
She did,
It wa-
and then
she didn't
when you
say
did
yes.
take the right to speak, which is fine, I accept that you did have the right to speak. The problem is that you then turned it personal, you didn't keep it
It's not.
anonymous.
You
You-
could have said yes or
And
no.
the thing is that it was an issue that was actually a conversation that was not held during this meeting, which I.
Right, that's why I should say that
So-
way. But I had the right to answer. It wasn't proposed as a yes or no question. I had the right.
It should have stayed outside of this office.
You're welcome to your opinion, but I had the right to answer the question. It was directed at me.
It wasn't directed to you, I was looking at the entire board and you didn't even let me finish my statement.
Exactly. That's-
I said, the bottom line of that was if there,
But how
if
many
there
times
is
since
a
then have I tried to say,
problem
let's move on?
that anybody has, because if you have a right to speak, everybody else has a right to speak.
Fair enough,
And
then.
everybody else's voice needs to be heard,
Fair enough.
not just yours. So that's fine. So everybody who wanted to speak had a chance to speak. And if you would like to continue, you're more than welcome to.
It's obviously not doing much good. This is not productive at all, and that's why I tried to speak with you personally, and that's why I tried to speak with you personally the next day. So we'll just leave it there. I mean, obviously, nobody wants to hear about that
No,
private
I'm
conversation,
sorry,
and
you
that's
were
fine.
harassing
I
me.
was not.
Oh,
Offered you an opportunity to be a leader and
you
to lead me,
were
and I was ready, and I
harassing
still am.
me
No, it wasn't.
on Facebook Messenger.
That term sounds familiar. Wonder where you got that information.
From your text message.
Would you like to address the board?
Yeah.
Can we please move on? I mean, I'd like to do something productive here tonight. I didn't come here to argue.
No, I didn't either, but thank you for letting me have the floor.
Please.
I'm gonna say something.
Yes.
And don't overtalk me.
You bet.
This is an advisory board of the council. Everyone is a volunteer here.
Yes.
We all thank everyone for volunteering their time. This has been suspended since 2012. Okay, not a damn thing was done in this town for any events since 2012.
And I know that was the first.
Am
Sorry.
I speaking? Thank you.
I said sorry.
Thank you. She has been put by your group as the chair of your committee. And whether it was you, or her, or him, or anybody else, you don't have any right to overtalk her. It's no different than when I'm up there. The only way it's gonna keep controlled, you can be productive and get anything done, is like he's saying. Everyone gets to have their chance to say it. You don't get to argue with her, she's running it. If you don't want her to be the chair, that's what she's getting at. The whole group as a group can decide somebody else can be that. If you're the only one that says, I don't want you as the chair, and they all say so, then guess what? Then you have to be the big boy and say, the whole group's made that decision. Whatever happened before is done.
Okay.
You should have apologized, whatever had gone on, and that's the end of it. But all you're gonna do is end up ticking off everybody, and the board's gonna be gone. So if that's your agenda,
It's done.
then that's what's gonna end up happening, and still nothing will get done for the town. The idea is that the whole groups and these committees and boards that we finally put back together, because some of them were together and weren't doing anything. So
Correct.
we eliminated and combined them. That's what the arts and events was eliminated for, because it was a spin-off of this group. It shouldn't have been in existence without this group. So you start with this first and run your events out of this. But nothing's going to get done if this is how it ends up every single meeting.
You're right, I think you're 100% right, and that's a very
Okay.
good point.
All right, so she is the chair. If she decides to step down and you want to put somebody else, you got to give that same respect to everybody else, including anybody else that would be, and you would be a chair. Same thing. But you maybe don't see yourself that you're over-talking her as the chair. They're not doing it. They're realizing no matter what, she is the chair. If you don't like how she's running it, then you do as a board and you vote it. But nothing will get productive if that doesn't stop.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%, yes, on that fact, absolutely.
Okay.
And I don't have an issue with you being the chair, I just was trying to work something else out, and that's really all it was. So, and you're right, I don't want all this frustration to boil into nothing getting done, because that is my frustration. I want to do things, I want to get things done, I want to make this town proud of all of this.
And I get
And
that.
that is why I took this position.
And-
Entertainment, sorry.
And it has to be that whatever you guys decide, whatever that is, you may not agree on all the same projects. You may not. Somebody likes something, somebody likes something else. And whatever you do would have to come before us to begin with.
Sure.
Okay? So it doesn't matter what that is. So if it turns out that yours isn't something they want to do, or his idea isn't something, it has to be a combined thing. But the fighting back and forth isn't going to help any of it, because nothing's going to get done.
Yeah.
So I would just ask you to respectfully respect her position as the chair, like I expect that one up there.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so, the old business for the meetings. Well, first of all, we want to approve the notes from the last meeting. Did everybody get a chance to read them?
I didn't-
What happened was, yeah, I couldn't print them out today,
Okay.
so I forwarded them.
And I printed them
And she
didn't
left
bring
them.
them, left them on the counter. So,
They're keeping the printer company. So, I can bring them up if you'd like, and we can talk about it.
I mean, yeah, if you could, if I may, if you could read them off, I don't see why we couldn't approve them, right? Am I
they're
right?
not real wordy.
Oh, I'm reading Mayor now.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Sure. Go ahead, Erin.
Okay, Amy will propose a Facebook page for council to approve. There'll be limited admins and all posts will require approval. She also wants to create and maintain a community calendar to coordinate events between the borough and schools and other entities such as the senior center. Mike Yeager joined us to enlist our help with the Easter egg hunt sponsored by the Rotary. He also made some suggestions on how to create events. It was announced that Diane Yules will be the bunny this year, and she has been the bulldog mascot for MHS for the past year. And we decided to have a food truck and music festival in October. Holly distributed the information packets on how to arrange such an event. And it looks like it's got a comment here, so I hope it's not second page.
No, it was short, it was all one page.
Okay.
I might have just hit the wrong punctuation.
It was just one page.
Okay, well, then that's it.
Okay, so as far as the Facebook page, we said that we were gonna create a committee. And Holly, I know you wanted to do it, and I know Erin wanted to do it as well. So we can have the three of us. Mike, if you still wanna.
I'll help you guys any way you need.
Okay, so,
It's so hard to put a Facebook page together.
well, no, but
Yeah.
like what you wanna put on, what everybody
Well,
wants
yeah,
to
Sure,
well, we can
making
always
sure
vote
we-
every time what we want to add, you
Right.
know?
And that's fine.
Even if we pass it around as emails with each other
And that's fine.
between meetings, you know?
Okay, so, Erin, do you want to create, do you know how to create the pages?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to create the page, and then you can make us admin, and then,
Find some good picture to put on it somewhere.
yeah, we can post the agendas.
Well, I can probably do something right there.
Does
Borough
all
page,
of
right?
this have to be approved through the borough manager, what, the stuff on it? I don't know about that part.
I'm assuming they have to do a mock
Yeah.
first and get it approved, right?
Yeah, usually pages, you could talk to the manager about it. We used to have it where pages, you had to watch what you put on it because you're representing the borough, you're all part of the borough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I would definitely have, if you're gonna put up an event or something, you wanna make sure that that has been something he sees.
Approved or
approved,
whatever.
has to be put
Okay.
up there. You don't want it to be a commenting page, you can have,
That's,
where they can
Informational
contact you
page,
back
yeah.
through your email, whoever's handling that.
Yeah.
But it's not, it should not be set up as a page that you're gonna go back and forth. It's an informational kind of page.
because we were talking about.
Yeah, I think it's called community now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like a
Email?
community page.
Did you get a community,
Not
an
a group.
email for, that you were thinking about, just when that,
We were
everything?
talking about it, but we didn't decide if we were gonna do that or not.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want, maybe ask Scott about it first on how you're setting that up, and he'll give you some guidelines if it needs to be, just to make sure.
All right,
Because when you're dealing with something that's borough, you're connected to the borough, that's a whole different.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not a
why I
regular
was-
Facebook.
That's why I was wondering the gray
Correct,
areas
yeah.
on that.
Because we do have policies on that.
all right, I'll call Scott. Well, let me call Scott tomorrow.
Okay,
We can always have like a quick meeting at my house, like a half an hour to figure out exactly, like, go over what Scott said, how we're gonna put it together, then we can present it to the rest of the board at the
Okay.
next meeting.
And if it's a no-go, you just close down the page.
Yeah, it's
It's not
not,
hard
he's
to do.
pretty,
You click off.
he's pretty flexible, he
Yeah.
likes like what we're doing so far, so I don't think it'll be a problem. We just need to get the logistics down.
Yeah, just make it a page, not a group.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
What, and does anyone here know, what are the other rules on a page like that? It's like, I know there's not really a conduct policy, but is there like a content, like you were saying, policy?
Yeah, usually what we try and set up, and we're still working for our tweaks on what we want to do for the borough and get a better site. The idea is to promote what you're doing, let people informational know that things are being done. It's made like a calendar kind of thing. So that's basically what you're going to be doing. And you want to make sure that they can still contact you, whoever that contact is, whatever your main email. But if they need to contact you for that, if they see something on there, that's how they're going to do it. It's mainly a site for you to put the information out for them, to politicize, not politicize, but to publicly put out what your group is working on or what event's coming up, and you're going to
In that way,
promote
the
that.
people can
Kind
share.
of a little bit like beautification does, the administration. We do not let anything on there back and forth kind of, there's no political whatsoever on any of that. It's an informational page, and the main thing that goes out there, and we have a mission statement on there that says it's about projects, beautification projects. And people can post if it's like, we have a few people, if they had plants, or there was like a garden show going on, but they asked to have that stuff put on. Some pages you can set up that's got to ask the administrator before it's put on there, you know, so see, Scott, how best to set up your page.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Debbie, I will chime in, Scott's probably not the best.
No.
Because he does not do social media.
Well,
However, he may put you in touch with Langhorne Borough, where he came from.
yeah.
They do have a Facebook page that is maintained by volunteers. So they would have probably a good idea of what settings you should put in place and
Yeah.
how you should use it.
And Lower Mayfield, sorry, Justin, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say that, you know, when you set it up in your about section, I would make sure that you put a contact information for whoever's gonna be your point person to get emails. And note that it's not political, it's run by volunteers, and it is not staffed 24/7. So I'll
Right,
get back to you at your leisure.
yeah, strictly informational.
Does anyone have suggestions on how to spread that information for the people who don't use that outlet?
Well, we could have it on the borough scroll. Now, that, you know, once it's approved, because they have that
Oh, on the TV
the
channel?
TV thing, we
Yeah,
could maybe
that's good.
announce it at a meeting.
Yeah,
It could also be put on the
Kiosk,
website.
okay.
Okay.
Borough website, anything you do goes on our calendar. So if it's something you guys get in place and it's moving, we advertise it for you, which is part of us.
And I think Lower Mayfield also has a Parks and Rec,
They do.
I think they do.
and I think they also have a Facebook page.
And it's probably how you're gonna set
So,
the park and
yeah.
rec advisory board or whatever.
So that might,
You can check out
It's
theirs
been up
and
for a
see how they
while.
have it set up, and then you'll get an idea from their
Yeah.
sites.
All right, so, Erin, why don't you look at those two sites, see what they have? I'll call Scott, see what other contacts he might have, or if he has certain things that we can't do. Then I'll email you guys to see what dates, or just email me what dates work for you, what dates don't work for you. And then we can put something together for that.
And when you guys come back to the rest of the board, maybe if you have some pictures, bring a laptop with some pictures, some ideas, so
But we can go on our phone.
yeah, it's just something to show.
Yeah, we won't publish it until everybody's,
Yeah.
I think you can make it private till you get it.
Correct, yeah. You can
Yeah,
make-
yeah,
can
you make it private so
to-
nobody
yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did when I did a page, I made it private so nobody could see it. And then once I was
And
sure
then
it
you
was
make it
totally
public.
done,
Yeah.
and it was,
Yeah.
okayed by everybody involved, I
And you
started
can do the
it.
same thing with a post. You can create a post and say, don't launch until this date or time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll
Yeah,
do
you can
that.
time posts too, yeah.
Okay.
All right, does anybody else have any issues with the last meeting? The notes?
No.
All right, so those are approved.
Approve the minutes, yeah.
Approved minutes. Okay. So the music festival. So what I was thinking about the music festival, I sent Scott sent me a facility application. Danielle helped me fill it out and we sent it in to him. They just sent the notification to the board to get it approved and everything, so I'm waiting to hear back on that for the date, the time. I was thinking of 11 to 4,
Okay, that sounds,
is that okay?
Yeah, because it's gonna be fall, it'll get chilly as the sun starts going down.
I say that's
you
good.
know.
Everyone,
What day is it on?
It's on the 19th,
Which is
October
a-
19th, which is a Saturday. I asked for 8 to 6 so that we could have time to set up in the morning and we have time to clean up at the end.
a good start. If we want to make it longer next year, if it works out, we can do that. So,
Does anybody want it different hours?
Is 5 hours too long for our first festival?
Well, if it winds down earlier, we clean up earlier, you know?
well, the only thing is you advertise it for that hours and people
Yeah.
come later.
Well,
Yeah.
but too, the food trucks are gonna start going as soon as their business drops off. They don't usually necessarily commit for the whole time.
Well, that's why I'm saying maybe the
Yeah.
first time we shouldn't do quite 5 hours, maybe 4,
Maybe go to
like
3
12
then.
Or we could do 11 to 2.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
lunchtime,
Yeah, 11 to 2.
you know?
It's 3 hours. I know we have 4 separate things listed on this date, so is 3 hours enough? I'm not sure. I'm just,
I was,
Why don't we talk about what we want to do? Because I figured we could break out into committees and everybody could take like a section and then just report back like at the next meeting. But why don't we do that? And then, because we have it, I said 8 to 6.
So
So,
we
I
can
mean,
do
we
anywhere.
really can do whatever.
sure.
Yeah, so the
We can-
advertising later.
We
We
can
could
pare it
even put-
down, yeah.
We could even put a open-ended closing time. I mean, it's an option.
Yeah, I mean, we can always decide the times later once we get the meat
Sure.
of everything, we know what's going on.
okay.
So what we were talking about last time, I believe, were food truck, go ahead.
Maybe if we get the Facebook page up fast enough, you could do a survey for people,
A survey on,
time, just to see what the general public says. I mean, it's not their main,
I would set specific time frames up
And
and
that is
then
lunch
do a
hour.
poll.
I
Okay.
wouldn't actually do a poll, for the simple fact that everybody's gonna be all over the place.
okay.
Yeah,
You-
that's
for-
I mean,
for
let's
an
make it a
event-
lunchtime event.
Yeah, for an event, you
Yeah.
set the date, you set the times, you live by the times, and
Yeah.
you modify it for the next year.
You learn
I mean,
from it.
that's- You learn from it, so, I mean, if we're gonna do that, we might as well just do something along the lines of, like I said, we can do 11 to 4 as the initial, what we're planning. If we don't get enough bands, fine, when it's actually put out there to the public is when we say, this is the time, that's when we're stuck to it, so. Right now, we can kind of be as flexible as we want until we actually put it out to the public. So don't worry about the time at this point, just, sorry, I'm kind of taking notes.
No,
so,
it's okay, you're fine.
We may want to look at, like you said, creating, like identifying who's going to do what for this event. That way, you know, that's your own independent committee, I guess, is the best way to explain it. Or if we need two people to do something, then that's what we work on. So I think we're trying to find out what the meat of what we're doing. Obviously, we're doing food trucks.
We were gonna have bands play or solo artists.
What kind of music are you looking for? Is there a genre? Is it open? Is it?
That, it can
Because-
be,
We could take applications and see which is
Send us a
more.
demo tape.
Well, here's the other side of this is that, the reason why I'm asking this is because music, usually you have to figure out what kind of music are you gonna accept?
What your audience wants,
And
yeah.
who is your audience?
Well,
And
you get to keep it, you know, family
you can't have
friendly, you know.
acid metal playing at a kid's event, you know, kind of, right? So
Oh,
I
come
just,
on.
well, you could, but I don't know if it would go very well. I mean, you might not be doing an event next year.
yeah.
So, I
What do
mean,
you guys think?
I mean, there's a lot of good cover band type of music that, you know, you and I would go out to listen to at a bar or something, you
Because
know?
and here's the other thing is, we obviously have no budget for this.
Right.
So we can't
That's
pay bands.
why I'm also bringing up the food truck thing later to talk
Yeah.
about that. So,
Local bands want exposure, and I think
Yeah.
if you ask for people, I think we'll get an overwhelming amount of people that would be interested, and then you can go through and see which you think is best for the group
I
we're
can
gonna
call in a
have.
favor for a band.
What's that?
I can call in a favor
I'm
for
sure
two
you
bands.
can.
I
Relax.
might be able to.
One's
I'm sure,
bluegrass,
I'd like to
one's
think we could
bluegrass,
all
one's
call
Morris
a band,
cover,
right?
So do you wanna take over the band part?
I'll do music, sure.
Who wants to work with them for the music part?
I'll actually probably rely on all of you, if you have
Yeah, you
anybody,
can.
any contacts, just to forward them on to me. I'll reach out to you.
And if I can't call in that favor, I'll ask them for suggestions, because they all are a community and they know.
Because one of the bands I
Yeah.
know is a bluegrass band, they're really fun. The other band I know is more of a covers slash some of their own
That could be
music.
fun too, though.
And that's it, it's not, it's, if we want to do an eclectic mix of music, that's fine.
But I think you're right, it's a family event.
It has to stay family oriented.
I
Yeah.
might be able to get you a list if I can pull the strings right, for possibly who was in Newtown this year. See if they have a list. So,
Probably call 5-4.
Yeah.
5-4 has a lot of local bands.
I'll talk to Joey, he's a friend of mine.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll talk to him. Yeah, I'll check.
okay. So the other thing we were gonna do were food trucks. Does anybody have,
I'm willing to take that up since I was thinking of the event earlier in the year.
yep,
So, might as well do.
And there's a lot of local food trucks. I mean, you've got Rasbecue, who lives right in town.
Yeah, I was gonna see who
Just go to the
did,
next two events and recruit everyone.
I was going to see who they, get a list of who they had at night out. I talked to the one in Bristol, the barbecue place there, because they were
Yeah.
outside, and I asked for the
Yeah.
cards, so.
they also have the Bristol nights, is it? Is that what you're talking about, in the summertime? They have, I think it's the first Friday of every month, down by the river. They have like all the food trucks
Yeah.
line up. It's like
We'll have to go spy them out one night.
oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, yeah. They have like things for dogs, they have things for kids to do, food trucks, all that stuff.
The Trenton Road takeaway, or Trenton Road takeout.
Do they have a food truck?
No, but they have a whole lot of context,
Oh,
because they do,
okay.
they do,
that pet
they
thing,
do
yeah.
the pet thing, and then they do a lot of different ones throughout the
Okay.
year, and they always have like at least one or two food trucks, so they probably have a laundry list of people.
I know that roast beef place up in,
And there's other
Parkland
places,
has a
seafood
truck.
stuff, and-
because he did an event for the fire department a couple of years ago.
Is there a
Yeah.
specific
Joey D's
type
or
of
something.
food truck you would be considering for this event? More
Nah,
snacky or more
anything. Food
meat?
is food.
Well, we're looking at lunchtime, so I mean, it's gonna be whatever.
Lunch.
depending on
Sandwichy and then maybe a dessert one or something.
Barbecue.
And a
I have,
vegetarian.
we have to get that shaved ice one.
Yeah, oh, sure.
It's in the fall, it may not be.
Yeah.
And also-
That might
Selling
be
very
nice.
well.
Vegetarian.
If it's cold, nobody's gonna want it.
Actually, a friend of mine's daughter-in-law just launched a bakery thing. I'm wondering if she's up to doing something like that. They could name her a business.
Ears.
I just said funnel cakes.
You call me?
You said
I said elephant ears because they're just finally starting to make it out this way, and it's like, you can't get it.
Well,
Quite
the
yet.
Morrisville PTO has a popcorn machine. I can see if we can borrow that. We could do the popcorn. We could,
It'd be nice if we could just give the popcorn away.
Or ask for a
popcorn's not
donation even or
expensive
something.
to buy on
Yeah.
Amazon.
Oh, yeah, when you buy the 5-gallon, the 5
We're not
gallon
allowed,
bag.
we're not allowed to take donations or make money, correct?
Well,
No, you pay
it's-
for the supplies,
We're
do you think?
partnering with, go ahead.
Okay, there are certain ways you can do this, and just to give you a little insight on this. In our recreation fund, we have what was arts and events line, we have the Labor Day line, which is a little bit of money that's in there, that's taxpayer money put in there. If you guys do an event that you're able to, let's say you do a fundraiser that raises funds before you do an event to help pay for something, that money goes through the borough. You don't get to collect.
But it
from
can
us.
go into a fund.
Right, we
Oh,
can,
okay,
put
that's
in a
great news.
we can put it in a dedicated line that says this money was raised for that event, and it gives you money to.
To
roll
use
back
toward a
into.
future event.
Correct, because
That's
you
amazing
guys are
news.
an arm of us, okay? So
Okay.
that's
I was
why-
under the impression, sorry, Debbie.
That's how that works. Same thing with, if you have a vet, let's say whatever you're doing is, you're not charging for, but you have vendors that are coming there, food trucks that are coming there that are profit ones, like NNO does. Those ones, they still have to fill out an application for it, every one of them, because
Right.
they're food, and it has to be turned into the borough, and they have to pay a fee, and I'm not sure, don't quote me, it might be $25 or something.
That's what I paid last year, yeah.
Okay, whatever that is.
And I was a nonprofit, but I remember.
Whatever that
it.
is, it goes to the borough, okay, that goes,
Right.
and then that money also goes back into the fees. And
Oh,
like Scott will be able to talk to you about that, but that's how you recycle some of that back in, it comes back always into the borough.
Okay, so that fee goes in, I didn't know if you had to say, okay, we're charging you $50 for the food truck, $25 of that fee goes towards the borough, and 25 would go
No,
towards
it's
our
just,
fund.
it's one
Just-
fee.
It goes straight to the
It
borough
goes
for
straight
their
to the
fee-
borough, 'cause they
for their-
have
it's our
to
fee schedule
provide.
cost.
Yeah.
If you want money above that, because what that does is that offsets the cost,
Now, what you-
because you guys are governed under us. So your police protection, your insurance is under us, because you are us.
Wait, so that's
You're
the
a subcommittee of us,
$25?
your board.
That's the 25?
No.
No.
Every event,
If they sanction it, we
yeah,
get all their
every
coverage.
event that anyone has outside of being a board of the borough, an arm of us where we appointed you, you then have to pay your own stuff.
Mhm.
Rotary has to put up their own
Correct.
for the egg hunt. National Night Hound has to put up their own insurance rider for what they're doing. Borough doesn't cover that. Police protection, all that. Because you are our recreation advisory board, you're an arm of us. So if you have an event going on that the borough has partnered with you with, you're covered under that by us. Because you have no way of raising money for that.
Yeah.
So you're not a private entity. So that's, and you can talk to Scott about that a little bit, you can talk to him, he'll explain all that, but there are ways, like, when you do something where you want to raise funds for something you're doing, that's also a way.
That's
to do
good
it.
news, that's a little different than what I was talking
Like I
about.
said, if you
That'd be a
check
big
some
help.
of those other websites from other recreation advisory boards and look at what they do and how they do it, you'll be able to look at that. You can also look at their budgets, you can ask those questions. Because you guys have never done this before, so it's kind of tough, you're just getting me thrown into this. And because you're a municipality, you don't earn the money. The money always goes through the borough. We have to show that in our funds because we have a fee schedule for all that stuff. But that's how you would do it, okay? Just to give you a little insight.
Debbie, I'm gonna add one thing to your statement, just if you check for how they're doing it and other things, be wary whether it's a township or a
Right.
borough.
Right.
We're subject to borough code and the laws are a little different
Yeah,
for
thank you.
townships versus
Correct.
boroughs.
That's a good point.
I'll ask my friend who's on council in Pendle Borough, how they do it, because they do a
Like
lot of
Lower
events down there.
Mayfield, they're a township.
Right,
Falls is a township.
but you would
Right.
at least be able to
Yardley's a
see
borough.
how they.
Pendle's a borough.
How they charge.
Bristol's
for
a
the
borough,
stuff and
yeah.
recycle the money back in. You'll be able to see how they run some of those programs,
Bristol Borough obviously is a borough, but then you have Bristol
which
Township.
runs under a fee schedule. So.
Okay. Then the other thing you guys wanted to have were activities for the kiddos.
I still like the getting of the pumpkins, having pumpkins painted. If we do have kids' activities, maybe some other organizations would like to help out with that. some other town organizations like, I can't think of who her name was that was here. She's at every meeting.
Tina?
Not Tina.
Our meeting or any meeting?
This meeting. She's been at every meeting.
Eileen?
She does it for the businesses, like the business. She's putting on the car show.
Oh, Jane.
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 Oh,
Jane's
she does
organization
both.
would like to help do something for the
The
kids.
Business Association.
Yeah. There we go. Business association. There we go.
Yeah.
So maybe she would like to help, like doing pumpkins.
I know
and
I
painting for kids and.
went to a community day for Kendall Borough, and they had a guy that was doing balloons. They had this little miniature golf thing where the guy had built like little putting greens out of wood, and,
Who we're gonna have to pay for these things?
well, usually they charge a fee to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can
You know what I
call-
mean? And it was like 9 little plywood and wooden putting greens, like a portable miniature golf almost. It was kind of cute.
That is really cute.
Alright. So why don't we get started on that and then just like report back at the next meeting, see how far we get with everything. Sound good?
Shady Brook does a nice
Shady Brook?
event, yeah.
So,
Shady Brook does their, they do like a community day type thing, where they have, I mean, obviously because it's the farm, they do like horseback and stuff like that, hay rides, things along those lines. But Shady Brook, they might be able to help as far as like if you decide to do pumpkins, they might be able to give you
Absolutely, a lot, there's somebody, even if you get a few from each place like that, it would add up fast, yeah.
the pumpkins, there's so many other things.
Yeah, fall time events.
Had those,
It's fall,
you were
so.
getting those donated,
we
right?
can have like people.
what?
You
Well,
said
she was saying
buckets.
she was going to check
Yeah,
at the restaurant store.
last year, the restaurant store had, well, this past year, the store had this huge box of pumpkins. The whole box was like 10 bucks. They were small, so there must have been like, I don't know, 12, 15 pumpkins in there, but they were like perfect size. And I thought I'd get like 3, 4 boxes, and then my thought was, do something quick and, have like a $1 donation, and then that money would fund back into, for us to have like some starter money.
Right, right.
It's just
But I don't know if they're gonna have it again next year. I mean, that might have been a one-off, I have no idea.
But you can check, you've got Charland Farms up there, you've got Shady Brook, you've got Snipes. You could probably find enough people to donate
Yeah.
a dozen pumpkins each or something, you know? And I'm sure if we cleaned out our closets, we could find enough tempera paint to do them all. I'm sure I got
Good donations.
boxes and boxes of
We can
paints.
put it on the pages and get donations.
Yeah.
I've done that for
The high school art students,
Okay.
to come and do like face painting and stuff.
Alright,
That's,
You could ask the high school art students,
huh?
you could ask the high school art students to come and
Face
do
painting.
face painting.
They would love it.
Face painting for the kids.
Yeah,
I mean, you can even ask some of the kids for, like, if they need service hours to help out, like to volunteer.
that's true, when they're seniors.
Kids love face painting.
Huh?
Kids love that face painting.
Oh, yeah.
I like it too.
Me too.
Hey, I get it done every year at the beach.
The high school does, when the high school does their day, they have, where Home Depot comes out and the kids get to build the birdhouses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
do
think
they
they
do
do.
that there?
They do a good job too.
They do a great job.
Didn't they do that during that bird day thing at the high school?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have 2 birdhouses and they're still standing.
There's all kinds of little
Yeah.
things you could think of for the kids to do.
Yeah. Home Depot could come out and help you.
Build a little scarecrow.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Scarecrow booth, do a scarecrow booth.
Yeah.
Well, I was
It's
thinking
expensive,
having
too.
families bring like scarecrows already made, like they can
Oh,
make
wow.
them at home. And
Yeah.
then you can have like a competition or
Contest,
something.
yeah, there you go. Run a
Give them like
contest.
a ribbon or something, like first prize, second
and
prize.
that doesn't
That's
take
a
long
cool
to do.
idea.
No.
You can even get little trophies for them, like
Yeah.
first place, second place, third place.
Yeah.
And they're like
Contest.
$3.
Yeah, the party store, the dollar
Yeah.
store has them, yeah.
You know what I mean? You could do that.
That's an idea. too.
Or let me know, I got a guy that I could get trophies from that we used for the little bulldogs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Trophies aren't that expensive, you look at the
no,
right
that's what I'm
places, yeah.
saying, they're like $2-3.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. What do you want to work on? Everybody's gonna team up with somebody.
I'll help with the activities, because I have my friends in other boroughs that I can ask what they do. So I can bring back, I can steal their ideas.
All right, Bradley, who do you want to work with?
I mean, you know, you guys can just tell me what I can assist with. I mean,
Whatever you want to do.
available, you know, you guys know your talents and what you've taken on, and, you know, just tell me how I can help, that's all.
Do you want to help me out with bands and stuff? Because I know you said you're in entertainment industry,
Be
so
glad to.
that's probably a good way to,
Sure.
you can pull a lot of rides together and probably come up with enough bands.
Yeah, no, I'm sure between the two of us, I'd be glad to help anything I can. It's just, as long as we had contact, you know, have contact throughout the month also. But
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
more than glad to, thank you.
Definitely.
Do we want all of this done by next month?
Just an update,
Or just a
like,
message?
just an update, kind of like an outline or like a start as to where you are. And you're not gonna get it all
Yeah.
done by next month.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just,
But you should have an idea of where you're going or who you're calling or
have our
contacts and
list.
stuff.
And at least a
Yeah, like an
soft-
outline of what
and
you're
if you get some
doing,
soft
where you
verbal
are.
agreements at least.
Sure.
Yeah,
So you have an idea of, okay, these
And
are
I
the ones that
have-
are very interested, these are the ones that are not, I mean, that would be good.
yeah, and I have the vendor application, so I'll email, oh, you have it, because I emailed
Yep.
this out to everybody.
Now, is that for any event we hold? We have?
Yeah, any event that we hold, that we
Okay.
have one of the parks, we have to fill this out, and they have to go through this, because we also have one for volunteers that they have to fill out too.
Really?
Amy,
Volunteer?
I have to ask another question real quick for that.
Yep.
Regarding bands, do we have to have them fill out an application as well?
I don't
Because
think
they-
so, but ask Scott about
Oh,
all
I
that.
Scott.
Yeah, ask Scott.
Just wanted to find out, because I mean, I know that they're gonna be on our property, they're gonna
You
be,
probably have to say who it is, I'm sure they're gonna, whenever you
Sure.
have an
That's all we
application, yeah, you gotta say who, everybody's gonna be in the park and what they're doing. So
Okay.
that's probably what
Wouldn't
it is.
be under volunteer technically? They're volunteering for it?
It doesn't
Even if they
matter,
get paid.
yeah, it doesn't matter,
But we have
because
to-
it's your event,
yeah.
so whether they're volunteering or not, you just have to list everybody that's gonna be there doing something, whether it's the band, it's the food, it's volunteers running a booth for scarecrows, whatever it is. You just have to say, because usually what you have to do, and you'll know this from National Night Out, is you must give usually a mapping that says, this is the park area, and you're gonna have this one about this site, this up here, so they have an idea. of
Where to put their stuff up.
Yeah, organize it, because when you start rolling on something, you wanna make sure that you know where everything's gonna go. Where you're, if you're having food, where it's gonna be, where
Yeah.
the kids are gonna be.
They want a
So-
map.
And
Yeah.
usually the borough wants to have some kind of a little breakdown of that.
Okay.
Talk-
That's
talk
easy enough to
Scott,
do.
I'm sure
It's not gonna be anywhere close to National Night Out.
No, no, no.
We got
but-
plenty of room.
Oh, yeah, but usually they
Yeah.
want to know who's gonna be in the park
Yeah.
at the event, free or
Okay.
not.
All right, anything else about the music festival?
Is
Anything?
baseball done by then? Is that an issue? My son plays and I'm not even sure. I would think.
Baseball will be, might
It's in
be
the other
done by
area?
then, but generally baseball's over at the,
Because by then all the little kids are done, right?
I think it's just fall ball at that
Yeah.
it's
point.
just
Get that
fall ball
final.
and it's over on the other baseball
Right.
fields.
No, they don't. After T-ball they do, no, it's nuts. Anyway.
And that's where your date thing's gonna come in, because they've already had to give their schedule. So
Yeah.
when you give your date, he's gonna line it up on what they got on the schedule already. That's why he's asking everybody in the beginning of the year, what time of year you wanna do something, so we can coordinate everybody there.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear back.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody's good with the festival, what we're doing? Okay. So, Brad, do you want to talk about your TEDx and,
All I have to say right now is the same thing I said last month, is that we ran a successful event. I'm proud to bring something that's done internationally here to Morrisville. The reason we did the first one at Summerseat is because part of their model is it has to be professionally videoed and put on their YouTube channel, and my goal was to highlight on every one of those videos that building. But we moved it to another building, which I've secured since our last meeting, and that will be November 9th at the Morrisville Senior Center. I don't have any other information yet on speakers, but nothing else. I planned it. I got a date. I didn't ask for it to be on the agenda, but I'm glad it is. Thank you. It's just like I said last month. it's up to you guys, if that's something that you guys are able to help support, but I would appreciate that. Because last year, we didn't get much support, I'm glad it was successful, and I just want it to be more successful. I want to keep it here in Morrisville. I have the Bucks, I have the license for all of Bucks and Mouse Mercer County, and my goal is to keep it here in Morrisville. And, you know, so like I said, if that's something that anybody can get on board with, I would appreciate it.
One suggestion I have is
Sure.
you might have to advertise more outside of the town, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Morrisville's demographic. I hate to say it, they don't have a lot of extra money.
Yeah, no, I know,
So-
we will advertise plenty now that we have a bigger building this year especially, yeah.
So
we're
that, to get more people in, you'll have to probably do
Yeah,
that.
now the numbers wasn't an issue, we had just enough people in there, like I said, it was a successful event or there wouldn't be a second one. So I am very proud.
Senior Center holds 125 people.
Yes,
Same.
by fire code, yes,
Yep.
yeah, which is, that's the perfect number for an event like that.
How many does Somerset hold?
Somerset, oh,
No,
but-
the senior center.
Yeah, the senior center.
Yeah,
But Summer Seat's a lot
We
smaller.
had, I think it was somewhere in the low 60s we had in there, but we also had production, we had people running a buffet, we had, we had a lot of people in that building. So thank God, it actually was, considering it was October, it was actually a little warm, but,
Yeah, the dog park has
yeah.
trouble getting enough people in.
Is that right?
Getting everyone in.
It's
there.
not set up
That's why
great
you have
for
the
that
outside
style
tents
event,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, we had it there for a specific reason, to highlight the building, I'm proud of that, and now we're just gonna do it again, keep it here. It's not, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but we're proud to have such a big event here.
Okay, I'm not gonna say that I understand what it is exactly,
It's an event for live speakers. to
but
share
I
it.
just don't see what the connection is with Morrisville. I mean, why would it be on a recreation board level? It sounds like more like a nonprofit kind of thing.
It's
And
run through by
only people that
nonprofit,
go
yeah.
in are people that are paying.
No, maybe you're misunderstanding, I'm not asking the board to help promote the event, I'm just asking for, like, support, like Mike did, Mike had everybody agree to support volunteers, and that's when I brought it up then, if we're, I'd like to see us support everybody's events, and that's why I brought it up at that point. So,
Can I address the board for a second?
yeah,
There's different types of events because you are a borough member, board member by us.
correct,
People confuse that situation where when you do an event here,
yeah.
you're not a nonprofit. That is your nonprofit, correct?
Oh, I understand that,
Right. So when you're doing that, that's a private entity. You
correct.
guys aren't a private entity. So that would have to go under just like you booking an event, just like you did for Summer Seat or for there.
Oh, yeah.
So you would have to book that as a separate.
I already did, I'm just
bring it
asking for
through the-
support from the fellow members, like volunteers, that's it. I
Oh,
already
volunteers.
booked it all and did all that myself, yeah.
So
I'm
you're
not
not
asking.
running it on your calendar?
No, I'm just asking for
Okay.
volunteers, like we did for the other
Okay,
thing, that's all.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
He's just asking for the board to support on.
That's all, just
Yeah.
volunteers, maybe share it on your Facebook
Okay.
page, just a little support, that's all. I'm not asking for anything more, yeah, no, I run the
Yeah.
event, that's a private event. I'm not putting it up, for something for the board to do, so
He
just so
doesn't
there's no
want to run it
confusion.
under the Recreation Advisory Board.
can't.
No,
He can't, but, no.
Because it's not a sanctioned event, that's a whole different thing. So whatever you're setting up, that's a nonprofit.
Correct.
So if do you charge people to go there?
Yes,
You see, that's the difference. So even though it's a nonprofit, you would have to do that. If you're doing it and you wanted them to bring it to the council as an event you're doing in your park or something,
yeah,
it then becomes an event.
No.
And you become that vendor.
correct. No, I'm not asking to go to council, the event is already set, I'm just simply asking my fellow members for support, and if you can't do it, that's fine too.
Okay, I think that's where the confusion was,
Yeah.
when
No,
you're
it's fine.
asking about that.
Well, thank you for clarifying, maybe somebody else was confused also, so.
Okay. Meeting dates. Is everybody good with Thursdays at 7 PM? Speak now or forever hold your
I like
peace.
Mike's suggestion about changing it before the agenda meeting, but other than that, Thursday's not an issue. But,
When does your agenda meeting
It's
usually
the
happen?
second Tuesday of every month.
So it'd
So if
be,
you did the first Thursday, if everybody's doing Thursdays, you could, if you have anything to send to council, you don't have to wait a whole nother month to send it.
actually, first Thursday doesn't sound bad to me.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, I knock all my meetings out in 1 week. I got library on Monday and this one Thursday and, agenda meeting on, that's
It
fine
doesn't
with me.
matter for me, except for Monday and Wednesday, I would just need a ride.
Either's fine with me, I just thought his suggestion made sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because if you did it the first Thursday, then we have the second Tuesday.
You have days to get it to Scott before the
Yeah.
agenda meeting to get it to us.
Yeah.
That's true, it is right
Yeah.
before the meeting.
I mean, you guys got plenty of
Yes,
time
I'm
for
good
your
for
events.
Thursdays are fine for me now.
Oh.
You were a
That's
problem
why I'm
child.
looking
I
at
was
you.
the problem child, yeah, I was the problem child.
All right, so
Yeah, I've-
everybody,
I mean,
We all have,
if
we
you
all have
to-
our moments.
Things have settled down in my work world, so
Good to hear.
I'm actually no longer running around to like DC, New York City until
good.
Thursday.
And mine's
Friday morning.
getting worse, but I should be fine.
all right, so everybody in favor of moving the meeting to the first Thursday of the month?
Yeah, it's fine.
That'd be good.
Any
Okay.
Thursday's fine for me. Okay, so first Thursday of the week.
So I have to email
When is the
each other.
Rotary Thursdays?
Technically, I think it's
Second
this.
and fourth. Okay, that's, yeah. First Thursday's fine. That's the other thing, is it conflicted with, it actually conflicts with Rotary nights.
Okay.
so,
I didn't realize they did 2 a month.
Tonight, though, because tonight's Rotary.
Yeah. That's why that's the other reason why I was gonna try to get into Rotary as well. So that's the, you know, I mean, just, no, but that's the whole thing is that,
Well, no, I was just doing it because,
So
like
they're
they
the
said
first.
last week, or the last month, the agenda meeting, so if we have something, we can get it.
yeah, first Thursday is actually good.
Okay.
Thursday. I like that one.
All right, the next thing is the Robert rules. At being an advisory board, we don't have to have Robert rules. It's not mandatory to have it. I mean, I like the way we run our meetings, but I also sent you guys a link to Robert rules. My computer wouldn't open it today, so I kind of did a summary thing of it.
Well, you mean this page? You're
Yeah,
telling
it's
me.
different than the
Yeah,
link,
right.
it's just this is just a summary of it.
Yeah.
So I guess where I wanted to put in the notes that we didn't have,
I brought it up to you, and I saw everybody's comments, which is fine. Holly, you think it's frustrating, you think it would bog us down. That's fine. I'm not trying to jam anything like that down anybody's throat. Just like this was far more structure than we've had in the past. That's kind of the point I was asking. I didn't feel like we had any structure. This is a good step in the right direction. So I mean, that's all I was really. When I brought up Robert's rules, it was more of a point of structure. So I don't know what anybody else's thoughts are on that.
I mean, my thoughts are, since it is an informal committee, that as long as we're not talking over each other and just are patient with each other to let people speak, I think it's fine.
Fine with me.
Yep, I'm fine with it too.
Because they're kind of difficult to follow sometimes too. You forget little points and then you gotta backtrack and, you know.
So the only thing that I think that,
No, go ahead.
I think the only thing that we might want to think about is that whenever it does come to a vote, you're going to have to take over as chairman and say, okay, here's what we're voting on, is all in favor,
Yeah.
all against, or those against, and just kind of at least note who did, like how many were for and how many against.
Yeah.
During, just for our notes and for me.
Yeah,
That-
so we can-
Only when the things come up for a vote, so.
And that's where my concern was. It wasn't so much as the process, it was about us being held accountable later. So like, for you to put something up and have to be second, well, if that doesn't happen, can we be challenged on it? It was more about us being held accountable than anything else, so, that's.
I think that's only going to be an issue if there's a formal vote on something, so.
That's okay.
okay, so all in favor of Robert's rules?
No.
Against?
Nay.
Nay.
Alright, all in
Nay. How many of us are here? 1, 2, 3,
5.
4, 5, 6. Okay. 6 to 0.
We're doing good tonight.
How many fingers?
I'm
Six.
tired of work, I don't know. All right,
6.
Yes.
so,
It's
no, it doesn't count, I forget what my son says, somebody's paint, I don't know. Kyle, you wanted to talk about the food truck event?
Yes.
I remember you saying something about it.
I was hoping to do a food truck, no, I can't speak, it's contagious.
See?
A food truck event, maybe this spring, just as a way to get a little bit of money in the coffers to go for our projects for the fall. So just deciding on a date, contacting the food truck saying, we would like you to have a food truck day or a food truck couple hours. Will you show up here? Blah, blah, blah. That's just something simple.
I don't know if it's too late in Do you guys think it's too late in the game to do it?
Have you looked at dates and making sure it doesn't, correspond with, like, say, the senior center or anything else somebody else may be doing?
Well, I wanted to make sure that we wanted to try to do this, because it shouldn't be that hard to coordinate. It's mostly just calling up the food truck saying, we have a date,
Meet in the parking lot, yeah.
meet in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what do you guys think? Do you think it's too late to do it? Do you think
We
we're
could
still
do early,
going?
we could do early summer, late spring.
Well, I agree with you for spring, I think it might be late, but I would also be willing to give him the opportunity to make the phone calls. If he can make it happen, he can make it happen.
We just have to, I think we have to get a date.
We have to get a date before
secure
we can
it
make
and
phone
get it
calls.
approved.
Yeah.
That's the
So,
problem.
So,
We have to follow.
And in the spring,
Correct.
it's really,
So-
Yeah,
and
banks or
so that
whatnot.
goes, circles back to, yeah, it probably is too late for the spring anyway.
yeah.
do you want to do the summer? If we pick a date now, I can email.
Yeah, let's pick a date now, and that way we could get something in the coffers for now.
Where are you gonna have it?
Have it down at Williamson Park,
That's probably the best place for
Okay.
food trucks at this point.
Yeah,
just pull
Because
into
of the
park-
parking and
Yeah, just
everything.
pull into the parking lot and, now, how long do we want it and what time would be the other thing too? Besides picking a date, but pick a date first.
All right, can I throw out an idea real quick?
Sure.
This could actually be a precursor to something that maybe, like, other communities do, where they do a first Friday or something along those lines.
Food truck Friday?
You can do a food truck Friday, and it becomes, like, during a certain time of year, during the month, it's on this Friday there, so people kind of get in their head that, oh, hey, it's the end of
What's
the
the
month.
first day of
Kind of like the
summer?
Bristol Borough.
Like, kind of like the Bristol
down
Borough's
the riverfront.
front, yeah.
What?
it's like
Yeah.
the 20th or 21st of
But I mean,
June.
this could be
Friday
a
at
precursor to
Universal.
that, so I
Well, the
mean,
21st is a Friday.
if we want to kind of
I'm not
pick a
sure, it's usually
day,
the still the
Friday nights are kind of
equinox is
I
a
usually.
know.
nice relaxing night-ish that they can,
Yeah, just grab
early
something.
evening.
I mean, eventually you'd want to have vendors, so
Exactly, but I mean, this would be a good way to kind of like launch out hey, we're gonna pick a Friday evening and just food trucks line up
The summer equinox is Friday the 21st,
of
June.
I am not here that
I
Friday.
like the idea, but
Oh.
I'd like that maybe just seeing some rotating themes as opposed to just food trucks every time. I think that could eventually run its course, just a
It
thought.
could, yeah. I mean, again, it's something that we can think about
Sure.
as far as a final Friday or whatever.
I like the
Friday.
thought, yeah.
'Cause
Get
it's
people
always nice to
together
have,
once a
if
month,
something's
yeah.
going on once a month, then
Yeah.
it kind of becomes this nice little,
Agreed.
so.
At least in the summer
but
months, yeah.
At least, I like the Equinox Friday.
yeah.
Well, that would be the third
Pardon?
Friday, we could do third
Or like
Friday.
in school back here,
Yes.
she's a question.
I just Googled like food
Did,
truck.
did you raise, yeah, you
Yeah.
raised
I
your hand.
did,
Like
I
food truck events.
can't.
Food truck events.
Like one or
With the
two.
kids still in school.
She didn't have to go potty, she had a question.
Friday night food truck rally. They do it in Feasterville. It's at Playwiki Farm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's June 14th, and then they do another one September 13th, and it's from 5 to 8. They have 15 food trucks. They do music. They have a beer and wine garden, but they also have like children's activities, vendors, and stuff like that, where they do admission is free, but everything else you gotta pay for.
Does it say how often they do
They
it?
probably get
They do it
percentage.
twice a year.
Twice a year, okay.
So
Which is
June
kind of-
and
yeah.
September, and it's for 3 hours.
They'll give you
fun.
like a template of what they,
Yeah.
how they
Right.
pull it off, so
And-
it's not just food truck.
And what was it called?
Um,
Can you send that to them, that link?
It's Friday night food truck rally. And then Jersey does one too.
And
It'd
the
be interesting.
autumnal
Okay.
equinox is Monday, September 23rd. So if you moved it back to that weekend before that, you know what I mean? Maybe we can go with those little celestial events.
You
Yeah,
have a question behind you.
yeah, just.
I just have a comment, and keep in mind that whenever Bristol does First Fridays, they pull our residents down there.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Oh, no, this would not be on our first Friday.
Okay.
Right.
and-
No, God, no.
Or some of the other bigger events, we'll pull our
Well,
people
both
out.
of these
and
are later in the
As
month.
great as I like your ideas, food trucks versus a whole townwide or, you know, whole event is gonna pull the people there anyway.
Yeah, no, you're right, it's gonna be a long time before we can pull that crowd back.
So as you're looking at your different social media sites, start taking into consideration what other people are having events.
The main
Could you
reason.
do
Why
something
can't I
around the
say-
celestial
Yeah.
events, because you know, quite honestly,
The
if it gets
Chamonix
dark
Mall-
out, you can get up on that,
The Chamonix
Right.
Mall's bringing theirs back also.
the
just so you
Chamonix
know.
Mall is?
Food Truck Frenzy in June.
That's a popular thing.
Yeah.
Now, they're doing it twice, so
We
they're
may run
doing
out of food
June
trucks.
8th and September 7th, and they're just doing